Greetings, fellow Watford fans. Omar here. It's time for the YouOrns 10-minute take, the first one for the 22-23 season. And your Watford got the 1-0 victory tonight. Watford 1, Sheffield United 0. The Rob Edwards era kicks off up and running with not only a win, but also a clean sheet, something that we'd only seen twice last season at the Vic. And we've already won 50% of the league games this season that we had last season. Remember, we had won only 2 games last season in the league at the Vic. And now we've won 50% of that number already in this brand new season, in this first league game. Watford played very well for the most part in this one tonight. They controlled the game for the most part, looked sturdy in the back, although there were a couple of lapses here and there. And they also looked very potent going up front. It was the midfield that brought, I think, a bit of concern to Watford fans. Certainly, I was one of those concerned about how the midfield performed. I mean, otherwise, they were quite good, but you just don't get the sense that there's any steel in that midfield at the minute. And granted, there are players who will be coming back like Lauser at some point, someone who is a bit more of an orchestrator, keeps things tight and keeps things solid and sensible, and allows some more freedom in that midfield. He links up play well and passes the ball well. He has a bit more of that decisiveness about him that I don't think the midfield altogether had in this game. But look, there's not really much to pick out here. You got to enjoy and celebrate this victory. After all we saw last season, I think anything this season is going to be gravy in comparison. And what's better gravy than an immediate win in your first game managing Watford Football Club for a competitive level like the championship? And Rob Edwards gets that win under his belt. And he did it with good, direct, open lineups. He had a really good lineup today, I thought. Very good, direct lineup. I thought it was more of a 3-5-2, perhaps. Could be 4-3-3, but I thought 3-5-2. It looked like there was a flat back three with Sierralta and with Cabaselli and Cathcart. And then he had the five across, really, with João Pedro kind of wandering out of that five and moving up to make it really a three as a link up player for the two forwards, Dennis and Sarr. And across that four as well in that midfield, you had Sema, and of course you had Cleverly, and you had Kamara on the right side, which is not his strong side, of course. He's a left sided player. And that's really how that looked in that midfield. And there's another player that for some reason I'm not remembering in that midfield 4/5. And then, of course, you had, as I said, the two forwards going up top in Dennis and Son. And I guess you could say that, again, in the middle of that, you did have João Pedro coming in to link up and make that occasional direct run. And the Watford looked really promising the first few minutes of this game. Very promising indeed. Very direct. The intent was there. The intent, the attacking intent was laid bare from the very start. A couple of shots on target. You saw Dennis looking very streamlined, very hungry. He was so focused tonight. I really liked Emmanuel Dennis. I think he was the number 2 player on the pitch behind João Pedro, who for me was the man of the match. I thought he played very well indeed. Had a lot of confidence tonight, was always up for it. He had a shot in the game and it was saved by the goalkeeper. João Pedro was attacking the ball very well. I liked the runs by Camera and Sema, who had some good set piece deliveries at times and sometimes not. But again, this is the very first game of the season. So really not much to really pick at here. You got to get 3 points and you got to get them on the board. And look, after what we saw at the Vic last season, as I said earlier, this is gravy. You've got to really be pleased about this. I'm not going to jump up and down about it, but I will be celebrating, and I certainly have been celebrating already. A small matter of bubbly already enjoyed here in San Francisco, California, after this victory tonight at Vicarage Road. A crowd of 19,536, I believe it was, that saw this one. Saw a Watford side that never really looked troubled. Sheffield United did have some chances, and there were some lapses, as I mentioned earlier, but United could not pounce on those and make those opportunities decisive enough. And Daniel Backman, when there was danger, was equal to it with his goalkeeping. I thought he had a very good game, although he didn't have a whole lot to do in this game. He was active, he was lively, he was commanding. That's what I get from Daniel Bachmann after this performance tonight. A commanding display. He was commanding, he was authoritative, he made good use of the space as a goalkeeper. He really did come out for the ball, very confident. And I guess when Rob Edwards names you the number one goalkeeper, you're going to take to that like a duck to water. And Daniel Bachmann tonight certainly did. Really liked his confidence in the goal, where, of course, in seasons past, not quite as authoritative. Certainly, I think you saw a very different Daniel Bachmann tonight. And for the times that he did, the few times he really was called into action, he made some big saves, a couple of really good ones, including tipping the ball over the crossbar in the first half of the game, and made a couple of saves as well, direct as well, from some shots that weren't really struck very hard, but they were shots that if you bobble that ball, you could be in trouble. Bachmann sturdy in between the sticks. As for the defending, I think the defending, despite a couple of laps, was good and very solid. Tonight, I thought Cabasele was particularly good. And also Cathcart and Sierralta were very solid indeed. Now, again, I say that front line was very good tonight. Really enjoyed what they were doing. And Saul, although he was not at his very best tonight and drifted out of the game in the second half, provided, of course, the all important assist in this game in the second half itself in the 56th minute when he slide rules a pass over to Mr. João Pedro, who did not make a mistake from inside the 8 yards or so that he did. Tap the ball home. Cool finish from João Pedro to give Watford all 3 points. His first goal, of course, of this campaign. And again, Watford with the clean sheet tonight. Very encouraging indeed. I like the substitutions. They weren't made until the 81st minute. Of course, you saw those things come on. Those things tell, those subs. I think Dan Gosling came on as well in this game. Raymond I came on as well. I think those were the 2 subs I can remember from the game. Manai, not a lot to go on, but he did have a shot on goal and he did have a good strike after a pass coming in from Emmanuel Dennis. And you looked at Manai and thought, yeah, he's got a shot on them and he'll take it. And Gosling doing the work as well in the midfield. I'd like to see Gosling start some of these games. Why not? Until we get Lauser back. Again, Tom Cleverley to me tonight, again, he was decent, but again, I just kind of think I would love to see someone sturdier in that midfield. There were a couple of times tonight where Cleverley got bolted, kind of pushed off the ball too easily. But look, again, I really don't want to dwell too much on maybe one thing here and one thing there. Look, Watford are going to improve this season. Cleverley is going to play better, I think, than he probably thought he did tonight. But look, the most important thing here are the 3 points, B, the clean sheet, and C, they all played together tonight. Watford together, they played like a team tonight on that pitch, where we, of course, last season didn't really see a lot of that at all. The team was fluid and functioning. I think Rob Edwards will be very pleased indeed about that. Watford then with 3 points to start off the season right in the championship, looking very good indeed. The crowd in full voice at the Vic. Really good atmosphere tonight. You could hear it all the way from here, as I've said, and deserved 3 points for Watford. They should have maybe had another goal or two, but look, a clean sheet is gold for the Golden Boys, and a win is even more gold, as Watford beat Sheffield United tonight by a score of 1-0. This has been the YouOrns 10-minute take.